Welcome to the Dream Labs, Dr. Contrast. Really appreciate having all you all come together. And before I start here, this little sketch exercise, I'm going to do some laptop concept studies here. And thinking about that whole project about laptops, I mean, there's a lot of sterility about that. I understand why they're manufactured the way they are. But I thought I'd take a chance here just to spend a little bit of time doing some conceptual what-if studies on maybe put a little more romance or more shape into the actual forms themselves, just the covers, laptop itself. But before I begin, I want to make a comment here that I really feel very necessary to take. And that is, I want to take a moment to thank all of you who were with me last Wednesday on my Corvette portfolio piece. I received a lot of great feedback on the channel with that presentation, and really, really grateful for that. I think the one thing that was really nice to hear was that I had one young man coming in, sent me a note and stated that it inspired him to draw automobiles and learn more about it. So that's worthwhile. And I just want to take a moment to thank that individual if he's still listening, for she, and encourage them. And Alice 5, it's great to have you on board. And going to the professional world, I'll show you a lot of neat things will be ahead for you. And fear not, as I said in my note back to you, you've got the skills and the talent. Just be persistent. And by the way, if you need any recommendation work at all, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help you. So thanks for joining in today. And I'll go through this exercise. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to just jump in and ask some questions here. But very simple operation here today. I thought I'd just take a moment, just some really quick ballpoint pen sketches. Really rapid little studies to see what we can do with as far as this whole program is concerned. As far as laptop, let's see if I can just rotate the pad a little bit here. Let's just begin with just getting a platform down. I'm making a big deal out of that. For example, platform, getting that whole process into perspective, and I'm just getting some drawing lines down. I'm just going to go back and open this up just a bit here. Just notice, real gesturally, very loose. Come back in and just get some shape into this thing. Just draw through it. Very loosely, come back and add a little bit of texture underneath this thing. Again, beef it up just a bit. Really, really loose, just very gesturally studies here. So I'm going to come back in and pick up a little bit of this. Let's tie that in just a bit here. Some backside. And again, down in front. A little bit of section on this thing, a little bit of tone underneath it. And I'll come back and just add a little bit of some design lines here to see if this thing can come through. Open this up just a bit and add some darts in this thing. Take that across, and move that and take that across. Just open that up just a little bit. And really quick gestures, just getting form down. Not really be a concern about light source coming in, for example, over here. A little bit of tone in this and a little bit of a negative surface here. It's downhill. You got to round the bend. Let's put little slots in here. Let's put little key slots just so it just gives some character to it. Bring this line up on top. Bring that on through. Notice real quick, little fast gestures. What if we took, for example, let's say we cut a section through this thing. Let me grab a pen here. Let's say we cut a section through this thing. And put together, for example, what it look like. Let's come up here just a bit more. There we are. Put a section through here. Just going to put it beveled. Cross, break in. Cross the base. Back up again and over. And that's it. So coming right, just a very simple, straightforward shot here. Into an angle bevel, just nice and easy. There it is. We'll put a little section in this thing, a little bit of tone, a little bit of color change, maybe metallic insert piece. Let's just go a little bit of tone in this thing. Down the body side here with this guy. Just a little bit of change of pace up on top. And just very simple. There it is. And we'll keep those guys handy. And we'll put change of pace in this thing here. Oh, I'm losing my pencils. There we are. And if we want a little shadow in this thing, put a little bit of surface behind it all. Come in, just a little bit of tone behind it. Just get a little bit of background piece here. Let's knock it off the page just a bit. Just little gesture studies like so. Come in underneath, a little bit of shadow underneath this thing. Real fast little pencil sketches, a pen. And that's it. Just coming together here. And then let's go back and look at this thing. Let's go back the other way here. Show them on the screen. That's good. Yeah, on the screen. That's good. I'm back in. We're waiting this thing now. Same definition. This thing. Just come across here. Point of reference. Drop it in just a little bit. Get over the body side. Point of reference here. Bring that in. Come right down. Pardon me, just rotate the pad just a bit here. We get back to normal in a second here. Bring that in as the graphics. Center on here, about right there. Let's take this line back, run that through. Get that same process coming in here. Take that same angle. Back. Just some cosmetic changes to a very, very typical straightforward upper on these things. It's really interesting how you get the very flat surfaces that are just very metallic, just stamped out, but just put them on a romance making these shapes. It'd be a lot of fun to work with here. So let's carry on with this. Come downhill. I want to break this thing up just a bit here. Let's do a bit of recessing this thing. Back down. Normal. Again, just real simple little texture changes here. We put a kind of section through this thing. Probably look like so. Come back with a little bit of a bevel break. Into a normal surface, into a riser. So normal there, back down again and over. Same thing across the right down the middle is just a simple bevel. And we come back in and add a little bit more. Let me turn this out just for a second here. Let's get this down. Split line there. And again, just a little bit of tone to give it a little bit of section and depth. Back underneath this thing, just a touch. And there it is. And maybe in this case, a little bit of color accent up on top here. There we are, right about there. And again, a little line weight change. Seeing some impact where the split line is, and just indicating there's some really definite separations in here. Just a little bit of color for line study, and break that through. And there it is. And again, let's just get this reinforced here. So there we are. And again, since we've got a little bit of shadow in this light source coming in here, just gotta put this into place here. In really fast gestures in terms of just putting a different scale or setup in this thing. So we can kind of put these pieces together here. Stays on, yeah, good deal. I'm still on the screen. Radius this out. Let's just radius this out. Let's find that perspective center right about there. Let's pick a point of reference there, and about right there. Let's take this right in the corner. Take that into the corner. Let's take that point into the corner. That point into the corner. So we've got a little bit of an offset here. Let's drop this in. There to there. And backside drop. Let's get this thing to really open up here. Let's make this matter back here. A little bit of background work in here. Just for a moment. Let's take this thing, open this up. Let's break it up a little bit more. Let's take that across. Let's take that across. Notice really fast sketches here in terms of putting together just themes, what ifs. It's getting a bit of a texture change in this thing. A little more drama up on the top of this thing. Now let's just get it right down the split line here. There. There. And there. Recess. Again, base. And again, just a little bit of tone back here. Again, a little bit of texture in here. And just summing up some really quick little loose thumbnail sketches. What do you think, Allison? Is it making sense for you? Helping on here? Just really rapid little sketches here. Just gonna get this line straightened up just a bit more. Let's get this over the edge just a touch more to get a little more separation back there. There it is. That's where that edge is. Very good. And again, a little radius here, a little bit of line weight change. A bit of line weight change. Again, that whole upper, let me put a split line. Maybe that thing comes down about right there. And oh, that's where my split line is. Just a little newer looking. That's cool. Bring that in, bring that around, and then just take it back. And there I am. Just a little bit of separation there. So that's it. Very good. So we'll loose little thumbnail sketches, just getting us some ideas down on just basic thumbnail sketches on laptop studies, and so a little bit of tone in this thing too, just a bit. So there it is there. Let's go back in here, a little bit of a thumbnail sketch here. And there, let's get this guy up here. Right down the center line here. Again, just a nice, simple little form there. Just enough, a little bit of nesting area here, a little bit of detail up on top to give it some personality. Very quick little thumbnail sketches here. And hopefully, as I said, Alice 5, are you still with me at all? Is this making sense at all? Any commentary so far? Is this helping at all? Just looking very, very simple proportional changes here. Some laptop, just looking at new cosmetic shell systems and cases, for example, different ways to stamp some of the surface work and get some more definition in some of the actual cases themselves. So let's go back and get a little bit of in this thing. Light source from over here. I'm just going to tone that back just a bit. Let's get this line right up to strength. Take this beauty underneath here. The background. And there we are, just some little thumbnail sketches. There we are. So just very fast, pretty rapid. Just a nice little shot at it here as far as looking at different shapes and forms, looking at changing the perspective around a little bit. And let's see if I've got that thing. There it is. It's back in the screen. There it is. Let me sign this guy. We'll start on the phone. So this is phase one, just getting an idea of the basic shells and how things are going to come together. And again, formatting, again, it's a very conceptual ideation phase, etc. But again, nonetheless, trying to look at some just basic little thumbnail sketches to kind of make it a uniqueness in this thing. Let me get this all lined up here. Got a fresh sheet of paper. We'll come over here, start another set here. There we go. Hope this is working here. Yeah, good. Stay on screen. Again, just getting that first platform in is really interesting to you. That opens up perspective, drive line to drive line, and taking that advantage of that. So now let's go back in here. Just get that center line down. Let's open this up a bit. Let's bevel this back. Let's bevel this back. Let's do that same thing here. Now, let's come back in through this. As I rotate this, just weight on this thing. Take this sketch back, put a little bit of weight in this lightly, but we're going to break this up and put a little bit of a floater in this thing. Let's do this. That. Let's do the same thing, center line here. Point of reference there and there. Let's break this up. Bring that on through. And let's do this thing. This thing actually stilts as it sits up a little bit. Let's put a bit of crown in this thing. Round it off just a bit more. Take some of the flatness out of it. Just a nice little shape form to work with here. Get that all set. Now let's take this thing and just slowly but surely, let's get that split line in place here where the actual lid is. There it is. Let's take that around the bend. And a bit of highlight in this thing here. Let's take that right through. Let's bring that up. Let's bring that up. And let's take this back here. Point there and roughly there. And again there. Notice how I'm using those contact points, for example, to give me some reference as to where these things are going to begin and end. and putting together some of the forms here that we're dealing with. So let's get a little bit of shape in this. Let's take this around the bend. Let's get that through. More roundness, crown. Comes back and through. And again, a bit of surface work in this thing. Kind of switch gears with this guy. There's a little bit of tone in this thing now. Line weight change. Let's switch gears, get a little heavier wax base here. Oh, it's floating a little bit. It's a bit of cantilever. It's a bit of shadow on this thing here. Let's take this back. Bit of contrast as you turn the corner. And a little thumbnail sketch. There she is right there. So just coming together here with some form studies. And let's go back in there. Let's do this. Sketch here. Sideways just a moment here. Bring this back. Get those line weights to come in. Way here. There it is. Basic overall shape. Now let's take advantage of this. So I'm back and add here. One here. Come across this thing. Step it in just a bit. Make that line down through. And bring this thing into speed here. It's going right down the center line. And take it back. Same process. And again, a little offset here. Let's take that through. Radius up front here. Radius up front there. Do it. Then a little work in the back. Got a little form shape there, just simple little forms. Trying to get things pretty well organized and just keeping it all nice and simple. Little recessed shape there. A bit of separation line here. There it is. And there it is. Ooh. Light source. Let's put a little bit of tone back in through here. Bring that away. This pencil here. We'll just get a bit of real quick little study here. Back into the direction of the light. It's coming backward from there. Upside down for a bit here. Let's get the shadow in this thing now. As I move this page around just a bit here. And a little study, a little black and white sketches here. I don't know. Else5, you still with me? What do you think so far? Is this making sense for you? It's again very gesturally sketches, trying to keep them very quick and fresh. Not a lot of detail added, just getting shape down, adding some contrast, and maybe some detail work in the actual surface of the box itself. But just really neat stuff to kind of deal with. Just looking at what ifs and conceptual stuff here to kind of deal with. So let's move along here. Please feel free to comment if you have anything here. Please let me know if this is helping or making sense at all. So thank you so much. I hope you're still with us. It's really cool to have you on board. In the center line, a little bit of side here. This through. Let's kind of let's just really do something really neat here. It's just a simple little offset here. That. Let's take that in as a little bit of a return. And let's get that lid line in place. Upper, there it is there. Now let's come back from there to there. It had a radius. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Draw that through. That same radius. It's a little bit of a form change. There it is. Very simple, little elegant form here. Just kind of taking it all in, and just bit by bit. And let's kind of get back in through here. Reinforce some of these lines. Let's offset this just a bit. Offset this just a bit. Drop that in. Bring that line forward. Open that up just a touch. And again, just a little bit of color change here. Maybe a metallic insert of some sort. So back into this. Yeah, there it is. Let me sharpen it stick a little bit. Some of these weights to work for us now. Light source in. bit of a texture change in here. Just a touch, kind of give a little bit of change of pace here. Just enough texture to make there's a little bit of a different pace in there. Kind of work with, there we are. There's another little thumbnail study here. Just looking at laptops. Again, exploring what if in shapes. What if we get away from that very solid stamping rectangular, I don't know if it's a term boring, but straightforward, very stoic look at this, some of these things have had. Majestic here. So, well, by the way, I'm going to do this too. I want to make sure we get this all lined up here. This sketch up on top here is actually doing this. It's actually vaulted. Upper. And again, a little bit of that on the body side. That's all negative back there. And to show that it is, let's do this. All negative. It just sits there like that. Shadow here, exaggerate the shadow just a bit. There it is. That's the elevation of that little form right there. So that's what we're looking at right there as we go down the line here. Let's go back in here. Switch gears to ballpoint pen. And a little bit of line detail here. We've got it. On a weight change, there it is. On a weight change, there it is. Just a real simple little theme sketch here. Just going to drop this lower out just a touch. Let's take this on through. Same thing here. Let's go with a tone of that radius is. Get that to work. We break that edge just a bit more. There's a little bit of a fillet there. Radius as we go. Take that right through the entire shape and then lose it. And lose it. And let me rotate this guy just for a moment here. And again, another little black and white concept sketch here. Really fast, quick studies here. Hopefully this is all working out for you guys. Maybe adjust this camera just a bit there. It's a little bit better, I think. Right about there. Good deal. So far, I mean, just a nice little series of fresh sketches. And I don't really want to spend a lot of time in terms of detail. And again, they're very conceptual ideation studies. Nothing really set in stone, but just looking at possibilities of what these things might look like if you went to a certain cosmetic change in the actual stamping of the part itself. Putting more color into it, maybe a little more detail into it, something more force, a little roundness to it. Just giving us a personality. And once again, Alice 5, if you're still there, let me know what you think. I mean, this sketch is making sense. I'm going very rapidly here, hopefully not too quickly. That I'm really looking at three things primarily in this whole exercise today. Number one, the value of really working quickly. That doesn't mean you're rushing through it, but seeing a platform, setting up a concept in space, what the platform looks like, then building off that platform to use center lines and contact points to develop some of the shapes and changes of venue here. So let me, and the third thing is actually just putting line weight into this thing to give it some character without really killing it and overkilling the concept of the idea itself. So let me just sign this one off and start another one here as we go. There we are, that's two. Get that guy out of the way just a bit here. There we are. And let's go to a third set here. Just, what if we did this? Again, platform. What I mean by that is that shape right there tells me how to build this whole form. I've got a VP on the left and a VP on the right. I'm going to start building off of this shape here by adding a vertical here and a vertical here, and again a vertical over here. So we'll take that time. Now I'm going to come off that platform and begin to build this shape by coming up with a bevel here, surface there, stop it, bring it across, contact point, bevel there. Down below, draw that line right through. I'm just building this shape as I go rapidly. There it is. There it is. And again, back to home base by drawing through. There's my platform there. There's face one. I'm going to come back into the same thing. I'm going to chase those lines back in perspective so we can see where those forms are coming from. Let me rotate this back in perspective. Let me rotate this shape back in perspective. We won't see much because there's a bevel back there, so it's not going to be visible, but we'll see it here. So let's kind of draw through this, and then draw through this. And that contact right there, that lift from here to here is going to actually do this. Bring that lift back in space. There it is. There's my lift point. There's my height right there. That's how I found that same lift on the other side. Back to that, over to that, and then that did it. Just put it all together for me. There it is. There it is. Vertical. Again, notice, there it was. Through it, drawing through it to find out where those scale is and how to find that shape. Let's go back in and work with it now. Let's kind of put a detail in this. Let's go back and keep it square. Radius it off just a bit. Go through here. Let's put that split line in place where it opens up down below. Let's tell you where the light source is. Let's come back in here. This, break this back. Just want to keep it that simple. Now let's get that back to center line. I take the same shape here, part as I move it around again. Find my center line, which is there. Bring that through. Take that back. Take that back. And come back in here and find maybe a little embellishment, change of pace here. Maybe I put a little bit of a half crown in here. Comes through that. On top, I take this shape and run that through. That's just basically it right there. So maybe I take this form down below, back into this thing. Just a little bit more of a bevel. Yeah, more of a bevel. Again, just to float this thing up. Now, there's the actual basic shape itself. Not a lot of romance there, but it doesn't have to have a lot of it. So you can come back in and maybe put a texture change up on top by maybe coming in. Let's see, let's kind of pick a point of reference here. Let's see if I pick the point there and there. I just brought that through and brought this through and brought it right back to that contact point again. Doesn't need a lot of embellishment, but just again, if you want to break up a shape, I mean, that's the best way to find out where you are putting these forms together. You actually use these contact points or development areas and the perspective to make sure it all comes together. It just simplifies the whole process here. So let's kind of reverse the system here in just a bit. Find out where the light source is. So if my light source is coming in from the right-hand side, that's what my shadows tell me to do. So I'm going to put a little bit of shadow in this thing. Just kind of pardon me as I rotate the paper again. Shadow really established. That's where my light source is. That's that. I've got that. Dark. Reflected light now in through here. Let's put this in place. A little recess. So let's get that to work. Now let's take this guy away from the light source. That surface tilts. So I'm going to do this, a bit of a break in this, keep that nice and solid. Up on top, that white area tells me where the radius is. So I'll leave that alone. Come back in and tone this thing. Take it from dark to reflected light. Line weight change. Thick, thin. Again, the same thing here. If I can get that radius to work. Same highlight there. Let's bring this into play. Tone it into the direction of the light. Dark to light. Underneath, since it breaks quite a bit, let's do this. Out, bevel. Let's darken that up. However, make sure when I get down to that area right there, I'm going to make certain there's going to be a little bit of white thrown through here, or paper. That is reflected light. There it is. That tells me what that shape is doing very subtly. And again, I can beef it up a little bit more by going a little deeper here. Across. Let's just get that cut line in place here. Again, thick on top. And the shadow, and then highlight down below. And again, just a bit more tone here. I can bring that right back, direction of the light source. Up here, take that stroke pattern, right back and release it. Up, hot spot, a hot spot, and there it is. Just a simple shape, but all of a sudden, oh, that begins to read nicely, I think. Now you come back in again. We can add a little bit more embellishment here by coming back in and maybe doing this. And this, a little bit of cut line change here, if it needs it. And again, away from the light source, this, coming from the dark, back to light. Again, taking that same stroke pattern right back to light source. And putting a little bit of line weight change in here. Tells me a bit of a texture change or a pattern change in there. And there it is, just for fun. A little more definition. And again, straight through here, just a touch more of that on the back side. You won't see much of it. But there's a little thumbnail sketch again of what that form of this case is going to look like in terms of the laptop to read here. Let's go a little bit deeper with this. Just a little darker, and then release it as we go down the line here. There it is. There she is. And a little black and white concept sketch. Real rapid, what I refer to as an ideation. Just a quick burst of an idea as it's going to hold water. I'm looking forward to maybe embellishing this a little bit further. What's it actually doing here? So let's go back in here. One more. Let's come back in and go the other direction. Frame around this thing. Just point a reference there, and a reference there. Draw that right through. And draw that right through. Again, come around the corner. Nice big generous radius there. There it is. Come around to that side. Pick it up on the front side. Move this back a little bit. Now just slowly building this thing up as we go here. Again, just get that reference to come through. It's there. There. And again, let's pick a reference here. And a reference right there. Come down. And put that same reference back here. Draw that through. Bring that down. Bring this down. All the verticals. There I am on my limit lines. There's a basic box section right there, so I put together for this form here. Let's go back in here and put a little bit of thickness to it. Bit of a rugged look, but then again, Sometimes that really helps. Back to drive line again. Again, into vertical, back in perspective, back in again, radius, into radius to soften it off a little bit, into radius to soften it off, again, into radius, radius, and then back in through here. Now to cheat the viewer out of this thing, make sure we've got some depth back in there. I'm going to add a little bit of a background vignette so we can see what we're doing with this thing here. So let's kind of tone that in real quickly so we can see what we're at here. What I'm saying is this, we've got a bit of a recess back in there. Show the viewer where that is. That form is actually doing. Let's frame this in. Hope this is back on the screen. Oops, sorry about there it is. And again, let's get this backside line of working through here. Taking a step further. And then release it. Light source out here. I'm again going to drop this shadow in here. See where that offset is. Again, notice that stroke pattern goes right back to where the light source is. Let's tone this away. And let's tone this aside here. So it's going to get real subtle in through here. Right, quickly, a little bit of highlight there. Let's get these line weights to work. Again, away from the light source. Shadow. And a little bit of fillet change in there, a little bit of highlight. And then again, that same direction of light. I'm taking that form right through, doing the following with it. Put a line weight in here. And then get the shape down, just putting a real organic, very geometric shape here together. And just, again, variation on theme, just trying to show you how to build a sketch here. Let's come back in again. That's a work. And again, let's go back and get a little bit of a radius in this guy, and just a touch back in this corner, and then let it go. Very, very geometric shape here, but nonetheless, let's go back in through here, and a little bit of sharpness. The center line. Again, just enough of this is where this is going to be the lid surface that comes up. You've got a protective barrier back there that really is going to protect this laptop on time. Again, it's got a little bit of this where it's going to be gripped. And there it is, a little thumbnail sketch. Again, it's very quick, little black and white studies here. And if you want to add a little bit of texture to this thing, that's fine. You can go back in and say, all right, maybe we've got just enough of this going on. A little color detail around the top of this thing. Not an awful lot to work with. Just a little simple color embellishment. That could be a light system, a diode of some sort. Tells you when the machine is on. Let's get this back through here just a bit more. There it is. And again, same thing back through here. Let these guys know it's got a bit of a bevel to it. Just a little bit of background. Prevent you from outlining some of those shapes so severely. Again, maybe just touch more, a little bit of color back in this guy too, a little bit of a tint change in this thing, a little bit of accent. There it is. And again, a little bit of detail in it, a bit of a texture change, just to show just a little bit of subtlety here. Let's get these back up on the page. There you go. Thank you. A little texture. That should do it right there, gang. Just very quick and simple. Very easy to kind of just looking at shapes. What if, for example, I'm going to just do this. Let's sign this guy. And we'll call it. Let's see if we've got it. Let's go back to this. There we are. Just a nice, just a little bit of review here. We started out with just a nice series of thumbnail sketches. Went from here, just to get with a ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pen, a little bit of Prismacolor pencil sketches here to kind of work with. And that basically is it there. Just little thumbnail sketches on laptop, organizational things, looking at shape, texture changes, and some patterns on the actual case itself, or the actual stamp body. So that was sketch number 1. And with the sketch number 2, with the switch ballpoint pen and a little bit more Prismacolor pencil sketch rendering to it. There they are there. That's another family of forms that we kind of worked with there and put it together. And then the third sketch we did was this guy here. And we just kind of opened up a little more, a little bulkier, a little more of a different geometry about it. But again, looking at what ifs and this, and not really trapped into the thinness, because sometimes there's a lot of need for mass or bulk or whatever it might be. But again, it could be thinned down or a stretch or whatever. The whole idea today was to get through the idea of the point of being very rapid and very conscious of the fact that you're working with perspective, light, and also detailing contact points. I would call reference points that tell you how to bring in the breakup shape, how to build a shape. So that's really, to me, a very important part of the aspect of the drawing cycle. It's not all just, gee, that feels good or what if. These are not great sketches. They're not intended to be great sketches. They're more fundamental, more functional in appearance, hopefully, and of some help to you. So it's been a lot of fun to put this together, and I think maybe we'll carry on with some of these lesson plans as or fundamental things as we move on in future streams. I've got a program coming in that might be of interest too, doing some store design, so that's coming along. Also potentially doing some things for 65 Corvette, and who knows, we'll see what takes place here. Some additional Star Citizen spaceship work, some landscape development as well, so a lot of neat things coming along. But I really like to make it a habit of changing the pattern every Wednesday as best I can, so it doesn't all become automotive or vehicle related. That's a lot of fun to work with, but I just like to keep it very lucid in terms of changing texture, changing papers, changing thought process, keeps things alive and fresh, and hopefully of some help to you. So those out there, those of you who might be viewing this later, I hope this is some help to you. And thank you so much for taking the time to tune in today. Much appreciated, especially you, Alice 5. Nice to have you on board today, and I wish you all the very best if you're still there. And if I can be of any assistance to you, please feel free to reach out. And thanks for joining in today out there in New York. All's well with you, and I want to just close off with just a couple of thoughts. Number one, please take a moment to visit my website at drcontrast.com. We've got a nice drawing program on there of 9 different little lesson plans from perspective all the way through to some case study work, light source perspective, volumetrics, etc. Also, in the new store, we have some apparel work up there with prints and posters. Some of the work I've done in t-shirts and automotive work. We'll be adding more to that since we're going to be able to do a transition into Shopify. So we'll add more material on the website. So that'll be of some interest to hopefully of you. And again, if you have any questions or concerns about programming or things you want to learn or things you want to go through, feel free to drop me a line at jim@drcontrast.com. I'd love to stay in touch with you and be of any assistance I can, or things that you might be working with that I need some help. You might need some help on. I'll be more than happy to help you if I possibly can. Not a problem whatsoever. And really interesting too that all that this whole process to me is about developing things. I'm still learning things. I'm still looking at possibilities and stretching out certain things and changing venues and changing project work and the like. So it's always been very, very unique from that point of view. And I really appreciate the audience here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. It means an awful lot. And again, I want to thank you, those of you who watched that Corvette portfolio. Really appreciate it. I've got a lot of great feedback from individuals. And it's nice to hear that when you look at work that we do, that somebody else gets inspired and actually do their work as well. So it's really fun to have it all come to pass. So once again, all the very best, gang. Hope you have a great week and a great weekend. And please feel free to tune in next Wednesday. We'll do a little more unique things, change the lesson plan a little bit and do some unique stuff. And I always close off with this. I think it's the most important part of the whole stream. Never forget to dare to remember to dare to be great, because you are. Thanks very much, gang. Take care, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.